Alright, hey folks, I'm back. I'm going to be bringing you another commentary. This commentary is going to be something a little different than normal because I'm going to be commentating one of the ranked 5s games that I've been playing. Ooh, I should quit Skype so it doesn't beep during the commentary. My apologies. We've got a replay which one of my teammates recorded, and this game was played about 2 weeks ago, I think. I picked randomly from the first set of 5 from our qualifying games. I think this was game number 3 that we played, but they all actually played out fairly similarly, so I'm just gonna give you an overview and you can see how we've been doing for our ranked team. I'm intending to check in. I'll probably commentate like one every 2 weeks just so you can see how we're progressing. We're currently just short of gold, having played, I think we're 7-1 total, but this is going to be game number 3. And yeah, I'll get right into it. I don't unfortunately remember the team name of the foe team, and I couldn't pause during the loading screen to get that for you, but their tag is FamJam. And we're going to have FamJam, probably Morgana, playing Sona. FamJam Eru, or Aero0, playing Lee Sin. They have a You Mad Bro, I'm Nasty on Jervin the 4th. And they have Kowser on Ezreal, so I'm going to be... it's going to be Ezreal and Sona will be the lane against me. And Larike, playing that Ahri. And on our team, Team Dauntless, just to quickly introduce all the players, we have Kulik, our top laner. He's going to be on Nunu today. We actually have been picking a lot of Nunu top lane because it's very hard to lose that lane, and it gives you a lot of utility late game by buffing the AD carry. And generally, so far, our strategy has been focused around getting a really strong bot lane and really farming me up to carry late game as I play AD. We have Hardy Littlewood, who I'll be referring to as Ethan because he's my roommate, playing Taric, and he will be our support player for Team Dauntless. We have Angel of Valorant, who I will also call Solar because that's the name I met him under, on Skarner, and he's jungling for us. And we have Schnipcake playing Morgana in the mid lane. Just a quick rundown on how the picks and bans went for this game. I don't remember exactly, but I can be certain that we first picked Morgana because we left her in the pool. So we got first pick this game. We usually don't leave Morgana in the pool if we don't get first pick. And our bans would have been something along the lines of Blitzcrank, Alistar, and Malphite. Other bans that probably happened were Jace and Rengar and Shen. Something along those lines. Those are the heroes that people tend to really want banned out. Ethan doesn't play Alistar or Blitz, so we pretty much just ban those every game because they're such game-changing champions. And we haven't been picking Shen, so we have been banning out Shen. Shivcake plays an excellent Morgana, so we've been picking him Morgana. I can't remember if this is the game where sometime during the game I was just like, holy fuck, those bindings are unbelievable, but I think it was. And we've been first picking Skarner a lot because he's a safe pick and doesn't really give away our team strategy. Taric Graves is just a very strong lane, and we'll talk about that more because I'll be looking mostly at myself this game. So let's get started. First thing that we do every time the game starts is we want to talk about what we're doing level 1. And what we've been doing is invading a lot, especially against champions that we're pretty sure Jarvan's going to want blue. So we're intending to invade. So we're having Taric, who's lagging behind a bit because he's the only one who doesn't have boots on our team, run down and place a ward at our blue, I expect. Yep. Oh, actually, we're going for the red. We're invading the red. I guess I forgot what we're doing. Other team is clustering to defend the blue buff, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay, so we're warding our red buff, and then we're going to go push into the blue. We actually warded that. That was a bit of a misplaced ward by us. Back here would be better, because it would see people coming down this way. And still see most of that. or right on the red just to prevent people from stealing the red. So that was something that we talked about after the game, is that we miswarded. Enemy team just clustering to defend their blue buff. Looks like we're just going to get a steal on the red buff here and back out safely. Like I said, this game was played about 2 weeks ago, so I don't remember everything that went down in it, and we played a lot of very similar games, so I might not remember all the details. So I'm rediscovering some of this as well myself. We still have 3 wards on Taric, which gives us a bit of an advantage. Taric and I are gonna... I remember this. I think we're gonna embarrass ourselves trying to take these double golems. I expected this is going to be pretty humiliating. Yeah, we reset the golem there, and then I'm just like, okay, we're dumb, and we gave up. But it's okay, it cost me a health potion. We did steal race. Looks like we're not stealing red, we're just going to go straight to our blue. But me and Taric are going to get to this lane well before Ezreal and Sona, so we're going to have a bit of an advantage there. Lee Sin will have a level advantage on Nunu, but that's actually pretty okay because Nunu is such a safe lane. And Jarvan's going to run in and steal our red, which is one reason that we decided to place this ward further back in future games. Taric Graves is a very aggressive and burst-heavy lane, especially compared to Ezreal Sona. They have a fair amount of harass Sona and Ezreal, but as long as we stay relatively safe, we should be fine, like behind creeps and stuff. We're also just running a lot of defensive skills. Morgana versus Ahri is a pretty even matchup. It's one of those things where in professional play, Morgana players pick Morgana against Ahri, and Ahri players pick Ahri against Morgana, and both of them seem to think the matchup is favorable, so I figure it's probably pretty even. Our plan for that is just to have Morgana farm mid lane pretty much, just trade farm with the Ahri, and if we can prevent Ahri from getting kills, then we should be able to out-carry them with Morgana late game, who provides more utility, if less burst. But just having that AoE ult and that Black Shield. Black Shield combined with Blood Boil makes for a pretty strong AD carry, so hopefully we get to see some of that this game. See, Nunu's able to bully Lee Sin around a bit. He's actually gotten 2 levels in shield to block those ice balls. Meanwhile, Taric and I pushed Ezreal in. Ezreal's quite weak to pushing, and is going to miss a lot of creeps and like have to use a lot of mana to get creeps at turret. So that's one thing that you can do to beat an Ezreal. Jarvan is in the neighborhood but took a ton of damage from his red buff, so we won't see a gank bot early. Meanwhile, Kulik has pushed out Lee Sin top lane and just gets to free farm this lane a bit. One of the weaknesses of Nunu is that you can't push very fast, so the lane's not going to push in his favor. Like the creeps will not hit the turret before Lee Sin gets back, which is kind of too bad. As a quick disclaimer, I'm almost certainly not going to see every kill this game, although it looks like something's going down bot lane. We're getting pretty close. Sona blows Exhaust, and Ezreal blows Ignite, and we're just thrilled at that outcome. Like, they'd use 2 summoners and gain literally nothing. Taric has a health bot. Sona almost got caught there. That would have been really good, but didn't. We actually have Nunu having to flash out from Jarvan, but he should be fine. He has Blood Boil and can slow the Lee and just escape this way. Meanwhile, Morgana's coming up to cover, but we'll probably just back off. Looks actually like Kulik's going to take the fall here, giving first blood to Lee Sin, which really sucks for his lane. Just was in a little bit too far, so Jarvan was able to come over the wall and get at him. It's one of those situations where you expect to be fine, but you have to blow the flash to not escape. Like if he'd been able to flash this way towards the turret instead of having to flash down, then he would have been completely fine. But because he was a little bit far up, he wasn't able to flash out as effectively. It looks like we're gonna turn on this fight because Ezreal has no mana, but we actually got out-traded there just because Ethan took a lot of poke before that engagement started. We were a little out of position. We should be able to pick off someone here, I think. I need to auto-attack. There we go. I needed to do that a lot sooner. I walked for a long time instead of auto-attacking. Jarvan's going to come down, but I'm certain he won't be able to get anything here, because I should just be able to dash out. He actually could have flagged me there, which might have been bad. And Sona is in the neighborhood. So I'm going to wait for him to place the flag and then dash before he can spear. That was my plan there. Because you always want to wait for someone to use a skill and then back out. And we're just going to have our jungler cover bot. That'll help him gain some ground on the Jarvan. He's already up 11 CS on Jarvan, like quite ahead in terms of gold. Doesn't have an assist, so that definitely sucks, but that's okay. You can see that even though Kulik was ganked and gave Lee Sin first blood, he's still up a full level on him and just able to bully him around in lane because Nunu's such a resilient lane. It's very difficult to like crush your lane with Nunu because people can usually just play safe, but it's also or you get ganked. Like it's often difficult to bully people around as much as you want to, but it's also, like I said, extremely hard to lose that lane. And what we want is to be able to just have a safe top laner. Looks like a bunch of action going down top lane. We've got Jarvan in here. He'll almost certainly die again. Yeah, he's dead again. Just enough burst there. But like I said, it doesn't really matter how often top lane dies as long as we get the AD strong. And we've got a long fight going on here. Taric getting pushed back. So not the best early game from my team so far. Pretty good ganks by Jarvan on top lane. And we have not been able to capitalize on their jungler being top lane frequently by putting us ahead. Now, I'm up a little bit of CS on Ezreal. My CS is actually abysmal this game. I'm at about half of where I should be. Wow, that's kind of annoying for this point in the game. A lot of fighting has been happening bottom lane, which is too bad because not much has come of that fighting. I'm obviously going to tank the creeps here and prevent them from getting into the turret. See, both mid laners have blue buff. Morgana will just be pooling the ranged minions and pushing out the wave. Ahri will just be queuing the wave and pushing it back. Now that I'm 6, Sona is also 6, Ezreal is still 5. We can probably get a kill bot lane. It looks like Skarner's getting a little bit caught here, but should be able to come around. They blow Sona ult on one person, which lets me get my burst on a bunch of people, but unfortunately we're too far out and just got caught, which lets us lets the other team take a bunch of kills here. Meanwhile, however, Chad Schnipcake soloed mid lane. I didn't catch how that happened, but I'm assuming it was just a binding into an ult or an ult into a binding after Ahri had wasted her ult with Ignite as well. Gonna try to delay the dragon here, but isn't able to hit that binding. Doesn't have ult up, so can't engage. Actually, if Morgana had ult up, he'd be able to get... Oh, tragic! If Jarvan hadn't gotten that spear off just then, he'd have been 100% dead to that pool. That's tragic. So things are not looking great for us. We're down a bunch of kills. I've died, so our game plan is not spectacular. Nunu does turn that around on Lee Sin with a really nice series of plays, slashing backwards, getting the turret hits, getting the ignite and the ice ball. So even though Nunu's been put behind by a bunch of pressure, he's still ahead, and mid lane's ahead. And our bot lane is... we're definitely losing, but I'm now double Ezreal's CS because he keeps getting sent back. Sorry, we're not losing. I'm losing in terms of kills, but I'm now double Ezreal's CS because he keeps getting sent back. So, it's not as bad as the kills would make it out to be, but definitely this is not the best start we've ever had. Sona actually leaving the lane for a while, which, like, she went up to place that ward on Dragon in a very dangerous spot. We could have gotten a Taric stun, and this is a really dumb move by them. I actually have no idea what they're doing here. Sona put herself in a really bad spot. Taric's gonna die to the Ezreal, but I'm getting a lot of attacks off on Ezreal, and when my buckshot comes back up, which I almost missed, I'll be able to take Ezreal out. I should have stepped slightly closer and then killed Ezreal. Notice how I lost vision around the corner and got stuck on this little torch thing? That was very poor pathing by me. I could have clicked around. Meanwhile, I push the lane in so that they lose more CS, as Ezreal sitting at 39 to my 74. Again, very weak CS by me, but at least I'm ahead of Ezreal. And getting a double kill there, I'm able to pick up a Zeal. This game I decided to go Zeal because I had that item exactly, and I felt like we were doing enough kind of kiting and chasing movements that I wanted that instead of the BF sword. I don't recommend this build. I don't think that it's very good, but it was one of those things that I was interested in trying out, and I felt like if there was a game that it was going to be good in, it would be this one. I think this is an excellent build for, in some situations, for heroes like Vayne or Kog'Maw, who are very attack speed reliant, but Graves is quite burst reliant and wants to have that flat AD. A lot of people even go Bloodthirster on him, which I only like if you're really winning the lane. So I missed the buckshot, but Sona actually blows her exhaust, which is kind of bad. We're not able to fully dodge Ezreal ult, so Taric takes a lot of damage there and has to base, which gives them a little bit of free farm in this lane, but the lane's pushing in my favor, so it actually doesn't cost us that much. It's just going to push into turret, where I'll farm these creeps up under the turret. They will get a little turret damage, and I'll miss a creep because I'm bad. Actually missing several creeps because I'm bad. Wow. The things you see. Anyways, top lane, we're getting a pretty powerful gank on this Lee Sin. He's already used his jump, so the Morgana ult goes off, but we pull the Jarvan, which is going to allow Ahri free reign to sort of come in, and a late Nunu ult, like when they were all piled up on Nunu, he needed to ult much earlier, allows Ahri to get a kill there. And when her spells come back off cooldown, yeah. So we give up 3 for 1 there by a little bit of bad teamfight management. We just weren't on top of our spells. Sona, on the other hand, is very low, and I'll be able to take her out here. Where is my W? There. Had I thrown my W, my smoke screen, a little bit earlier, she would like to hear from back here. The first time that I was in range, I would not have had to, like, well, firstly, I wouldn't have missed that. I probably wouldn't have had to flash for that kill. Just would have been much better overall. Remember, I have Zeal, so I can just chase her down. I was not playing to the strengths of my build there. Lee getting a bit of free farm time because of how because we lost a bunch. Jarvan going back to farming. Oh no, he's not going back to farming. He's coming after me. I think he should have gone back to farming there. Getting Morgana blue buff again. Important to keep your mid with a blue buff, especially when their mid has a blue buff. So we're down to 11 to 7, and we're down about 2k gold, which is, like, it's a fair amount, but it's not the worst. I'm getting a little bit harassed, and I'm low on mana, so I don't know if I'll be able to fight here when I get back. We don't currently have vision on this Jarvan, but I think we saw him go into the jungle. Skarner just caught sight of him there, so we know they're all there and maybe looking to do dragon when it comes back up. Jarvan coming from the side, but we have a Skarner in here, so nope, we're gonna get counter ganked. Jarvan hopping in, but we were able to burst Ezreal down quite low. Ezreal turns around and lets me auto attack him to death, and then I'm gonna W. He was low, but he had escaped. but he for some reason let me auto attack him there. We also have Morgana coming in. She's going to be able to cut off Ahri and prevent the escape, but we're not going to go for the dive because we're so low. Morgana should probably have just camped there and would have gotten the Ahri, I think. Would have been able to hit that binding instead of having a little bit of vision problems and missing it. With that pick, we're going to go after Dragon, which I think is definitely a mistake. They still have Ahri up, who's very strong, and we don't have much in the way of spells. So Ahri is actually going to be able to burst down Taric here, and we don't get, because of an early Taric stun, and we weren't able to turn on that fast enough, we don't get a binding to follow up. We don't have Skarner pull up, and I wasn't able to land any of my combo, which lets Ahri just pick off Taric for free there. But a really good binding by Morgana lets the ult follow up. We'll probably go down to Jarvan here, especially after missing that pool and not getting the spell vamp off of that. But Sona does snag that kill for some reason, which puts Jarvan a little more behind than he needed to be. Jarvan is 4-0-6, which is a lot. On the other hand, I am 5-1. I did get a bunch of kills in those last couple exchanges. So I'm getting up towards a Bloodthirster or an Infinity Edge. Still highest, or second highest CS in the game to Morgana, who's almost finished his Zonya's. Item progression, as you can see at this elo, is not the same as it would be at a higher elo. Like I said, these are qualifying matches, so we have not worked out our synergy fully, even as much as we have by the time of this commentary, where we've had a few more practices and have played a bunch more ranked games. Like I said, this was our third game in basically our first day of playing together. And I actually had played with most of these guys only a couple times before we decided to do this. Just gonna push the lane in here. I actually should be pushing harder than I am, I think, because Ezreal's not back yet. And gonna try to burst down Sona, and because I have so much damage, I actually am able to just one-shot the Sona. Did not even have to use Ignite there. We're definitely talking about diving the Ezreal. Ethan and I really like turret dives, which gets us in trouble. That's one thing that we need to work on, I think, is not diving as frequently. As you can probably tell, this commentary is as much for me figuring out things that we need to do differently, and for my teammates who, if they're watching this, to sort of talk about things that we should be working on. And here we're diving Ezreal, and we're just going to get that kill with a good turret dive. We knew they weren't all in the area because we had just seen Jarvan base, and we saw Ahri and Lee Sin, and of course we'd killed Sona, so that was a pretty safe dive by us. And with Ezreal dead, we're definitely going to try for the dragon. I'm at full health. Taric's at half, but this is much safer than the last time we tried this because I'm at full health and have all my cooldowns up. I mean, not my ult or my ignite, but you know, I'm not like missing the dash or anything. Good smite, solar there. Make sure we get the dragon, and a really nice Morgana ult at exactly the right time. That Morgana auto attack picks off Ahri, which I had like failed to do. Sona flashes there. She might have made it out if she'd flashed over if she'd run down and then flashed over the wall. But as it is, she's just gonna get bound and then taken out. My ult comes back off cooldown, and I use that to snatch the kill. I really wanted that kill because it's gonna get me close to eye edge. I remember that, where it's like I should steal that kill because I'm gonna get a major item off of it. Always important to recognize, especially in team play, who needs the gold and how you can get it. And if it's worth using a cooldown to steal a kill, sometimes it is. As AD carry for the team, I'm farm slot 1 in Dota terminology. A lot of the old Dota teams, rather than saying AD carry and semi carry and mid solo and like top laner or whatever, although hard lane is the term in Dota, they decided to designate players and their roles based on how much farm they get. I'll talk about this in a moment, but it looks like Lee Sin's gonna get out. Yeah, no, he's fine. We're turning around. Didn't use any cooldowns on that, and Lee Sin used Flash, so definitely worth it for us. Looks like we'll be able to gank this Ahri mid because Morgana and Taric are coming up behind her. I actually should probably have waited for the Taric there. Because Morgana showed and gave Ahri more time to escape than she'd have had if Taric just walked up and stunned her, and then we could have chained that into a Morgana binding. But the binding hit, so it didn't matter. Anyways, as I was saying, a lot of Dota teams just call the roles 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 based on how much of the team's farm they get, like what priority it is to get them farmed. And as AD carry in League, you're farm slot 1, so it's most important for you to have gold. Big team fight going down here. Kill by Jarvan on Taric, but with that pull, I might be able to get Lee Sin. Yeah, really nice binding, puts him low enough for me to get him. I'm looking for a dash in on this Sona, and I expect I'm going to try to take it as soon as we clear this wave. Another beautiful binding hits, which is going to pick off Ezreal as I get to dash in and do a point-blank buckshot into him. And of course this was all 4v4 really. Another hit, but we don't have a pull. If we had a Skarner pull, we would have got that. I also could maybe have waited for Sona to walk up, but I didn't know she was going to do that. That was dumb. So, big turnarounds here, and I'm now sitting at 11-1 with Infinity Edge Zeal. Very hard for us to lose this game at this point, because we had such good team fights there with the Morgana ults. That pick on Ahri chained into a really bad team fight for them because they didn't just give us mid turret, and we've managed to organize it so that I picked up all the kills, which is something that we were talking about during the game, was to let me get the last hits, because that's let me get iEdge Phantom Dancer up at 23:07, which is a pretty good time for it. Usually this is about when you'd see an Infinity Edge, 2 Dorans. Like, around here is when most pro players who weren't 11-1 would have these items plus would have Infinity Edge, 2 Dorans, Attack Speed, Boots, Vamp Scepter, and like be starting their Zeal. That's assuming that you're just hitting all the creeps. But because I have 11 kills, I've been able to vastly outpace that, and that's gotten us quite far ahead. Having one very strong AD carry at this point in the game makes it very hard to lose. Shirelia's into a Sona ult, into Ahri being out of position. Skarner with the speed buff is going to be able to flash grab Ahri, and then I'm just going to spend all my cooldowns bursting her down. We chain that into a Taric stun as the pull ran out. We should not let her ult out, so I just shot her to bits. So at this point the game is definitely ours to lose. So what we're thinking is we need lots and lots of wards. We need to do plays like take Baron, bait Lee Sin in. Notice how Taric went to zone Lee Sin, and then the rest of us just stayed on Baron. Like we sort of turned a little more than we needed to, but I actually intentionally took that Lee Sin Q because I was hoping he would dive in on it. Baron's not low enough, and as he in fact does now, which lets us just pick him off. I do get low, but there's no one nearby to follow up, so we just get 2 kills for free and then pick up the Baron. I actually hadn't heard that before. Enemy team did have a ward there, but they placed it as we were fighting. One thing that we should have done is gotten an Oracles a little earlier, like as soon as we started winning we wanted an Oracles. I think we finished an Aegis or something instead. No, we're actually not finished in Aegis. So the fact that Taric or Skarner don't have an Oracles right now is a mistake by us. As soon as we started winning, we should have gotten one to cement our lead. One of the best ways to come back in organized play is to pick up a whole bunch of wards and get picks, or in disorganized play. Notice how I dash the Jarvan thing. If we might have been able to, if we had been a little quicker on the draw there, catch him as he dashed in after I baited the flag and the dash. with Jarvan and heroes like that, it's very important to dash their skill shots after to dodge their skill shots after they place the initial one. Like if a Jace, for example, places his speed gate before firing his Q, it's incredibly easy to dodge. So as long as you wait for them to do those things and then dodge patiently, you should be fine. For a very similar reason, you should be as patient as possible with your skill shots. I actually get in a little bit of an awkward spot there. I don't know where they all are, so I have to dash around. We're getting Taric a bit low, but Nunu's in there tanking it. We're going to take the dragon. I actually got the last hit on that. Neither Jarvan nor Skarner smited that. And then Ahri gets cut off from our team, so we take her down. Also gonna throw binding, a flash into that binding, into a Skarner pull, into a Taric's gun, and Ezreal is chain CC to death. I'm coming in behind them along with Nunu, and we're just gonna bring down the enemy team here with a Morgana ult. I flash out of the Jarvan thing, and then run like a sissy little bitch. I don't know what I'm doing there. I should be manning up and fighting. Like, there's no way they can hurt me. So yeah, I don't know what came over me there. A sudden attack of cowardice. Nice dash, also. And that's the game. They picked up a surrender after we won that third, I guess, major team fight. 3 major team fights is impossible to come back from. You can come back from 2, often, even if they get like 2 and a Baron and an inhibitor. But 3 is the point at which your spawn times have become so long that they'll just throne or get 2 or 3 inhibs, or, you know, the gold differential just becomes so massive. As you can see, even though we started out down a bunch of gold and down kills, as we transitioned into not the laning phase, I was strong enough and got black shields and Nunu blood boils that we were able to just win all the team fights by having me DPS. Other team got caught out a bit more than they should have, and definitely some misplays and miscommunications by my team. But like I said, this is one of the early games. I'll be bringing you one of our more recent games probably soon. I don't actually have the replay files for that, so I'll need to get them from someone. But yeah, so that's game 1, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you're interested in seeing how we progress, because I'm interested in commentating games as we progress and as we continue to improve. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first ranked 5s with Team Dauntless. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe to my channel. I love it when people comment. Ratings and subscriptions are always good, and of course if you subscribe you get to see every time I upload more excellent League of Legends content for you. So yeah, cheers. GG.